This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Thursday, the 6th of September. I'm James Spann. Hey, got some changes coming up this weekend. Somewhat exciting. Let's go to some of the Skycam shots around the network at mid-afternoon. We'll start with the Inverness Skycam. Down below, traffic on US 280. It's a partly sunny, warm afternoon with pretty quiet conditions. Not much rain on radar today as expected. Up north, there's the Coleman Skycam. The sky generally cloudy there. But look at this. Down south, that's the Dauphin Island Sea Lab Skycam on the Gulf Coast. And despite the fact that old ghost of Isaac is near there, there's just nothing. The sky is clear, and so far so good down there. All right, there's the big picture, and we'll talk about the remnants of Isaac, Nadine, that deal to the south here in just a minute. First off, up north, we have an upper low that's over Canada. Energy is coming on the western side of that. That's going to carve out a big trough over the east, and that will bring a nice break from the humidity by Sunday, as you'll see, and some rain on Saturday. But there's the radar. That's at 217. A couple of small showers over East Alabama, counties like Chambers and Lee and Macon and Russell, but up this way, not much happening, and I think the radar will look a lot like that tomorrow. Chance of rain relatively small. Temperatures are in the 80s for the most part. Again, the models have just been way too hot in their MOS products. You know, the GFS wants to keep us up there in the low and mid-90s, and that's just not happening. We do have 90 up in Huntsville in the Shoals, but mostly 80s down here. In fact, only 81 at the Shelby County Airport at mid-afternoon because of some lingering clouds there. Convective outlook, we've got some risks to the north of here. One over Arkansas, Missouri, one over the plains, one way up in the northeast, but obviously no issues here. And tomorrow, a slight risk northwest of Alabama. That includes Memphis, Little Rock, up to Indianapolis, almost to Detroit. And that's in advance of the front, but we don't expect any severe weather on Saturday when it comes through here, nor do we expect any really heavy rain. In fact, speaking of that, this is the rain for the next 5 days, valid through Tuesday morning of next week at 7 o'clock. Bigger numbers across the southeast are down in Florida on the I-4 corridor, Tampa, Orlando, Daytona Beach, and that's with what might be Nadine or maybe the ghost of Isaac, whatever you want to call it, the system in the Gulf. And around here, the numbers have come down, and I think that's right. I'm beginning to think that Saturday, well, yes, there's certainly a chance it's going to rain at times on Saturday, maybe not as wet as it looked a few days ago. And that's good news for football fans. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's look at the tropics. First off, this is a little chunk of what used to be Isaac. And you see it's very disorganized. The circulation center is due south of Dauphin Island, but the convection is pretty far south of the circulation center. So it's all lopsided and discombobulated there, and the hurricane hunters are not going to fly in there today, and they might look at it tomorrow if things look better. If something develops, it gets a new name. If it becomes a storm, the name would be Nadine, and it's going to move east over toward Appalachia Bay in North Florida. And again, that would wet down places like Jacksonville and Ocala and Gainesville and Orlando, Daytona Beach, but all of that stays well to the south of here. And we've had enough of Isaac, that's for sure. There's the intensity forecast. And we note a number, in fact, most of the models bring it up to tropical storm strength. And it's not going to get one way or the other. It's going to be a big rainmaker. That's the impact here. The water is cooler down there, so no issues with this thing becoming a hurricane. But this is a hurricane. That's Leslie. Little bad data line right through the middle of that, but that's a pretty decent-looking storm out in the Atlantic. The good news for Bermuda, the models have been shifting to the right, and the Hurricane Center is adjusting their track to the right as well. And if this is right, this hurricane will pass well east of Bermuda on Sunday. And that's fantastic. The system should be a hurricane, but again, that would pretty much eliminate any major damage to the island if that's right. All right, and there's a look at the other hurricane out there. This is Michael. Pretty good-looking storm. That's a major hurricane. Top winds are at 115 miles an hour, moving northeast at 7. But it's funny. This thing will be just out in the middle of nowhere. It's born in the middle of nowhere, and it will die in the middle of nowhere, not affecting any landmass. Let's check the GFS. This is the way things look tomorrow at 1 o'clock local time at 500 millibars. Here comes the energy up north. Down below that, again, the day should be pretty dry here. Just a very small chance of a shower. You see the broad low in the Gulf that would be perhaps TD, 14 or Nadine. Saturday, as we start the weekend, there's your trough developing over the east. Not as deep as recent runs, but still, it's going to help push some cold air down here and a cool front. I say cold air, cooler air. And there's the front. And look at that. It's really not as wet as recent runs. This is suggesting rain would be fairly light and spotty on Saturday. And let's check the NAM, and it looks almost the same. Just basically a narrow band of showers. Now, this is 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. All right, so for the football fans, let's look at Tuscaloosa. Alabama's got a home game. I think that's a 2 o'clock kickoff. And if the NAM is right, the showers will have ended by then. With some light rain Saturday morning. And over in Starkville for the Auburn-Mississippi State game, that's an 11 o'clock kickoff. There could be a few showers around. But again, this news just looks a whole lot better for the football games. And it looks like the rain will not be all that heavy. And it's certainly not going to rain all day. And that's quite encouraging. Let's go to Sunday. Trough is rotating up over the northeast, and down below that, we should be in a beautiful air mass. Humidity drops, the high close to 80. We'll start the day around 60, maybe even in the 50s. In fact, let's look at some of the lows coming off the NAM Sunday morning. Now, I would say these might be a little too cool, but this is suggesting early Sunday morning we might see, what's it got? Look, 50s around here and 40s up in Tennessee. So, hey, that sounds whatever. It's going to feel great. Beautiful day Sunday. Monday, same thing. I think we start the day in the 60s, the high low to mid 80s. And we're going to be dry most of next week. There's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So, again, just gorgeous weather. And if you need 5 days of dry weather, there you go, Sunday through Thursday. We'll check the end of the forecast, September 22nd. Look at that upper low just northeast of Duluth, Minnesota. And look at the cold air coming down the pike up there. Hey, it's going to be snowing at Duluth and International Falls if this is right. Heavy snow in parts of Canada. Yeah, I said snow. And down here, though, we're still in a warm air mass, but that cold front would certainly make things change if this is right. And we all know this is in the land of voodoo. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this afternoon. We'll have notes on the blog. Next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And don't forget, we'll be on ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 on the live stream or the television side. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.